I'm Ryan Field, and I'm here to talk about funds of knowledge. Funds of knowledge is a theory that was pioneered by Louis Mull, Kathy Monte, Deborah Neff, and Norma Gonzalez in 2001. Its main idea is that families, past experiences, community resources, local interests, and local history are tools that can be used to engage students. Every student that enters a school brings their funds of knowledge. It is comprised of many things: their history, their way of getting to know people, their culture, language, the jokes that they know, their competitiveness, the people they respect, and many other factors that their family, culture, and guardians have taught them. Funds of knowledge is both a student's knowledge base and a tool that can be used in schools. Funds of knowledge excites students by using topics, resources, and family to connect them to school. By using funds of knowledge, you can connect your curriculum to things your students see every day. This has meaning for your students and is a way for your students to appreciate the material that you are teaching them. For example, in one of the articles I read this year on Indonesian schools using funds of knowledge, it found that incorporating students' funds of knowledge in teaching science not only sustained, but also improved students' interest in science. Students felt that approaching science concepts in the context of their everyday life made those concepts more understandable and interesting. The study found that the funds of knowledge concept worked well and was worth using, but the teachers also found that using local knowledge improved the attitude of their students. One teacher communicated the success of incorporating local knowledge into their teaching by saying that their students went from swearing to her to saying good morning and actively being curious into what the next assignment was going to be. Using funds of knowledge can garner respect from your students. Also, using funds of knowledge is a good way to learn how to present knowledge to students. For example, in the same reading as before, it found that a group called the Javanese emphasized having a peaceful and harmonious society, which made it difficult for the Javanese students to participate in discussion groups, where it is common to critique one another and have opposing viewpoints. As a teacher, I will need to find these societal differences and find a way to adapt my curriculum for the benefit of my students. As I said before, funds of knowledge is a good way to engage family and build bonds between teachers, students, and the students' families. Using family members to share their knowledge can bring cultural experiences to the classroom and give family members a platform to share their knowledge. Additionally, funds of knowledge is a good way to connect new ideas and concepts to students' cognitive structure, which they have developed through their culture and family. A good example of these concepts in action is a story about a teacher teaching mathematical concepts in the Torres Strait Island community, which is located near the northern tip of Australia. The teacher was trying to teach mathematical processes to the islanders using skills and concepts in the islanders' daily life. Eventually, she found a perfect system to teach division using the Torres Islanders' sharing system. The sharing system that the Torres Islanders used afforded young children the opportunities to learn about sorting, sharing, and partitioning. The sharing system had to do with splitting up different types of fish into different categories, depending on their size. These fish were split among family members so that every family member had roughly the same amount of meat. These concepts worked well with teaching division and fractions, and it was a good way to connect these concepts to the children's existing cognitive structure. This was an event that was done every day and that the children had direct involvement with. This connection to everyday life allowed family members to help with teaching this curriculum and allowed them to take a role in the education system. Overall, it was a way to teach math using the children's already existing cultural understanding and allowed the parents a way to be part of the education system. Lastly, using funds of knowledge is a good way to share cultures and foster empathy within your students. Using funds of knowledge, you can share different stories and viewpoints among students. Having parents bring their life experiences into the classroom can really broaden students' opinions and can provide a different point of view. Schools that have multiple cultures need to be socially responsive in order for funds of knowledge to truly work. This is one downside of funds of knowledge. You need a school that is supportive and understanding for it to work. Not every environment will work for funds of knowledge, and implementing it can be challenging. I have been reading about funds of knowledge throughout this semester, and I think it is a spectacular theory that I will use in my classroom to build bonds, foster empathy in my students, and create a classroom that works for everybody. Not only do I think funds of knowledge is a great idea, but I have also seen how effective it is firsthand. Thinking back on my days of going to school, I didn't know it at the time, but my teachers were using funds of knowledge. Back in 5th and 6th grade, which was 1998 and 1999, before the definition of funds of knowledge, my teachers were using this concept to engage my class. My teachers, Mr. Simpson and Ms. Haig, were using local artisans, farmers, and historians to bring our area to life. For example, we went on trips to learn about our local history around Lake George and Lake Champlain, learning about the victories that U.S. forces had over the British during the War of Independence and the War of 1812 really connected us to our past and gave character to our local surroundings. With this information, it made us appreciate the character and history of our area and made us feel like we had a connection to our history. Like the Torres Strait Islanders, Funds of Knowledge was teaching us knowledge through local resources and concepts. We also went to a local maple syrup farm, which was run by one of our students' parents. It connected us to a local industry and taught us about science. These experiences are something that I can still remember today with detail and made an impact in my education. With my personal experience, I know the impact that Funds of Knowledge has made and its power to engage students. Analyzing those past experiences, I now realize, like the teachers in Indonesia who gained respect from their students by using Funds of Knowledge, it also made us respect our teachers. I was never a student to make trouble or bash teachers, but the students who did, you could see that these experiences made them appreciate Mr. Simpson and Mrs. Haig. We enjoyed the relevance of the material to our everyday life and the tangibility of the subjects. Reading about the successful use of Funds of Knowledge and my personal experience, I will definitely be using Funds of Knowledge to benefit my students. Thanks for listening.